Welcome to Out Motorsports, the channel for cars as you are. My name is Jake and I'm here at the Washington, D.C. Auto Show with one of the more exciting all-new products for this show. This is the 2022 Toyota Tundra. This is the first all-new redesign of this vehicle since approximately the Stone Age, and the one you see right here is the newest variant of it that they just announced called the Tundra Capstone. If you know Ford F-150 lineups, they've got their top tier as the F-150 Limited. This is what's going to compete with that F-150 Limited. This is the Tundra Capstone. You're going to get unique paint, unique wheels, and a unique leather interior, among other things. And that's all fine and good. We love seeing these top tier trucks, but we're going to take a walk and show you some of the Tundras that you're going to actually buy. So let's take a walk here. Now, of course, we will get the chance to drive these Tundras at a later date, but I wanted to show you especially the interior with these because it is a vast departure from the last Tundra. So let's take a look. This one right here is the Tundra SR5. This comes in about $48,000. This is going to be probably what a lot of people are purchasing if you just want a truck with some nice options and not a lot of frills. You'll see this has the optional trailer tow mirrors. These are huge, watch your head. But otherwise, this is gonna be a more basic version of the Tundra. Now, drivetrain-wise, Toyota is offering two different drivetrains. Both of them are going to be a twin-turbocharged 3.5-liter V6 at their core. And then the higher of the two drivetrains will be a hybrid version to compete with that F-150 hybrid. It uses an electric motor mounted between the engine and transmission, so you still have a 10-speed torque converter automatic. So moving a little further back with this Tundra SR5, you'll notice this is the shorter of the two cab sizes that Toyota offers. So this still has a regular door with a regular handle here, but you'll notice it's a little bit shorter, and you still have some room inside, but it's not going to be the cavernous back seat that you would get with the full crew cab. But nice that you've got that regular door and door handle, and that leads to a longer truck bed. So moving back here, this is a 6.5-foot bed. You can see Toyota's got a Suzuki dirt bike back here, and they've got an optional bed extender that flips out on the tailgate, so you've got that extra room with the tailgate down. Obviously, if you get the bigger cab, you can have a shorter bed to compensate, so the overall length of the truck will be about the same size. Now let's head inside and see what's different with the interior. And again, this is the SR5. This is the most basic variant that you'll get of these trucks. And then we'll move to a Tundra 1794 that is more towards the high end of everything. All right, so getting inside this Tundra SR5, this is obviously a more basic interior. You've got these gray cloth seats. They are still pretty comfortable for what they are, at least on first impression. And of course, everything here is gonna be pretty similar truck to truck, depending on the options you get. You know, this is more or less the same layout. You've got your traditional shifter here, no real gimmicks. You've got your four-wheel drive control here that you push and slide. So kind of an interesting approach, nice space saving there. And then you've got your drive modes, your tow mode, all of that right here with this knob that you spin. And then the nice thing with this center console, this is huge. You've got a lot of space down here. You've got some cup holders. There's a little cover here that gives you an extra tray. And then this big guy opens up and you've got a whole lot more space inside. Now, this is all going to be the same no matter which trim you pick. Obviously, this will be trimmed out a little differently. This is the smaller of the two infotainment screens that Toyota gives you, but they both use a new version of Toyota's infotainment software that is light years beyond what the old Tundra had. And then otherwise, steering wheels are going to be the same. This one has kind of a injection molded plastic, whatever feel to it with some texture here in the middle. You've still got a lot of controls, a lot of steering wheel controls for your adaptive cruise control, for your radio controls, volume, that sort of thing, phone. Generally, it's all pretty similar to what you're gonna get on the higher trims, but I think this comes across as a pretty nice truck for being so basic. They haven't skimped on things here. So with that, let's head over to a higher trim truck that will have a lot more options, a lot more goodies, and be kitted out just a little bit differently. All right, and we've moved away from the Tundra SR5. This is a Tundra 1794. So again, if you're thinking about Ford F-150s, it's kind of like their King Ranch. So unique color combos, a little more interesting interior going on. If you don't want all of this fanciness, you can also get the Tundra Limited, which is going to be very nice, but nothing too excessive or too out there, let's say. Now, one of the most interesting things with the new Tundra is how you can open the tailgate. There is a release on the tailgate handle, of course. You can also, right here, if you've got your hands full of things, you can just bump that little button. Tailgate is damped, it opens right up, and you'll notice the step folded out power operated to help you get right up in the bed. Now this bed here is a composite bed. This one does have a spray-in bed liner as well. The reason for that is that the composite bed is plenty durable, but it is also kind of slick. So if you want things to not slide around, you may want the spray-in bed liner. You'll notice there's some LED lighting in here. You've got a 120 volt household power socket and some tie downs in the bed. This tailgate is pretty easy. It's definitely assisted. It's not a power tailgate, but it's power release. But easy enough to move, and then that step will fold right back in on its own. Let's continue walking around. Obviously with the 1794, you get unique wheels, you get some unique trim going on a little bit. And of course, there's several different grills and bumpers and all that good stuff depending on the trim you get. All of us here have the opinion that these Tundras look a little bit better in person than they might in photos and on video. So if you think this new nose is perhaps a bit much, like I thought, don't totally write it off until you see it in person, because it's not quite so much when you get it in person. Anyway, walking around, we've got LED headlights here, and all of these trucks are gonna have this kind of gray contrasting wheel arch going on. Let's move to the inside of the Tundra 1794. You'll see a totally different interior from the SR5. All right, and getting in the Tundra 1794, you'll see this one's got all the electronics on. It's a bit brighter in here too, because this has the full panoramic sunroof going on, which is a very nice touch. Obviously that's optional on a lot of these trim levels and didn't have it on that SR5. You'll notice, like I said, this has the much bigger infotainment screen, and this one's actually working. You can see the new software that Toyota's got going on here. GPS will only work so well because we're inside a big building, but you can move through the different functionality. And the nice thing that I've noticed so far, it's pretty snappy as far as just how quick everything moves. So really like that. We'll get to play with this more obviously when we actually drive one of these and can spend some time with it. If you move over here to the gauge cluster, this is a full digital cluster. It's got a big screen going on. You'll see all these visit your dealer messages. That's because they've got auxiliary power running to these and the cars are a little freaked out, but everything is full digital here. Nice impressions to start. We'll have to obviously drive it to get more impressions later. And then you can see moving around otherwise, you've got some unique finishings going on. You've got this nice kind of contrast leather here on the door panels that matches your seats. You've got some, stitching up here on the top, more of this contrast leather, and then you've got a wood or wood equivalent that's on part of the center console and part of the doors on the dashboard there. Like I said, depending on the trim level you get, all of this will be different colors, different woods, different, all that sort of stuff. But definitely makes a really good first impression. I think the seats are comfortable. In this one, like I said, all the power is working, so I've been able to adjust them. I've got a good driving position here. The hood, the belt line is pretty high, but you can crank the seat up to compensate. I appreciate the fact that Toyota kept buttons for their climate control. They kept the volume knob, which is pulled off here so no one steals it at the show. And then you've got controls for your trailer backing, your camera, all your different options here. The other thing here is you've got adjustable suspension. It is only on the rear axle, but these are independent rear suspension trucks now, all of them. And in this case, they have air suspension. So you can raise it up and down. This 1794 is currently in its lowest setting, but you'll see the other trucks next to it are at their normal ride height. And then of course, we'd be remiss to not mention Toyota still kept the roll down back window on the cab. So that is an option. It is equipped on most of these trucks here. And it is a power operated rear window. So really nice to still see that. It's a cool feature if you've got the sunroof open. I'm going backward. I guess the whole thing turned off. Cool. So now we're in the entry exit mode and everything moved back so I can get out easier. So I guess with that, we're all done. So thank you so much for watching and we'll see you for the next one.